Hi everybody, Birkat, Shabbat, Shalom, Warach, and Chazak, Chazak, Minit Chazek. This recording is also for Ilul Ishmat of Yaakov, David, Ben Miriam, and Elchanan. Like we mentioned earlier, this is a Shabbat of Chazak, Chazak, Minit Chazek, meaning that we're going to finish the Messiah, the Sefer Bereshit. And we know that Bereshit, it's all about the midot, the character traits, the holy character traits that we learned from our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, and Sarah, Rivkah, Rachel, Leah, and the Shiftei Ka, the 12 tribes. And like we say in Pirkei Torah, before we start going into the laws of the Torah, we all, as Jews, have to learn the Derech Eretz, how our forefathers and foremothers lived. And Baruch Hashem, that was all the Sefer Bereshit, which is going to now carry on to Sefer Shemot and the whole Torah Kulo. We also know that we're going into Bezat Hashem from this Motzei Shabbat into the period that we call Shovevim Tat. This year is actually 8 weeks instead of 6 weeks, the time that we have to really work on the Kedusha for men of Shemirat Anaim, watching our eyes, and for women, of course, Siniut, and Siniut. And these are the two character traits that defines the Jewish people. And Bezat Hashem, we know that this is also Zaman of Dinim, of judgment. So the more a person works on these midot of Kedusha and Tahara, of holiness, for both the woman and the men in the Jewish religion, Bezat Hashem, you're going to see more Nisim Niflaot with what's going on here in Israel, down south, and actually the whole world. That Hashem should save all the Jews around the world, and we should have happier times with Moshiach Tzidkenu. With that note, we're going to go into this Parashah, talking about the midot that we talked about, learning this holy midot. Before learning the actually halachot of the Talmud Torah, we want to talk about one point that my dear friend Rav Shokron mentioned, that this week's bracha that Yaakov Avinu, when he blesses all the 12 tribes, he calls Yehuda Gur Aryeh, and your brothers will know you, because you admitted in the case of Tamar, which we talked about a few weeks ago, that he was the one who was to be take the responsibility with what happened with Tamar and the children that he fathered with her to bring the Moshiach, that he admitted that it was him, as opposed to throwing the responsibility on her. And she would have said, look, no one knows that this happened, the way it happened, whatever it was, and nobody has to know. I'm going to be king anyway, and this could be just, erased from history. But no, he took responsibility. And that's what we talked about last time. That's what responsibility means to a Jewish person. They made him into a king. And that's why we are called Yehudim, after him, not Ruveni, Shimoni, Issachari. We're called Yehudim because we take our name after a person who takes responsibility. And as Jews, we have to follow that lead of responsibility when it comes to our own lives as husbands and as wives, and for our children, because responsibility in Judaism is the most important thing. Of course, we have to be responsible to carry on with the laws of the Torah, because we're responsible to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to follow his ways and to be a light unto the nations. That's number one. Number two, we want to talk about a huge lesson that talks to us in our daily lives more than ever, and that is by Yosef HaTzadik. We know that last week in Parashat Vayehi, all the brothers confronting Yosef, and all the simanim, all the indications are that this person who's standing in front of them is none other than Yosef. Of course, it says Derech Hapshat that Rashi says he had a beard before he left the brothers. He didn't have a beard, but that's not good enough for a reason. Chazal tells us there's more than that. That after everything that happened, and Yehuda and the brothers are feeling that there's something wrong over here. This guy cannot be an Egyptian. This guy has to be somebody from the family. As Yosef says, Menashe, to calm Yehuda down. Yehuda says, nobody could calm me down if this person is not from the house of Yaakov. Yosef is screaming, the image of Yosef in front of them and all the facts are screaming that this guy is Yosef. So why can't the brothers just admit, it's you, Yosef? Take off the mask. And the answer is going to be, we have to sit down very, very, very tightly on, because this happens with with all of us everyday lives. A lot of times we know the facts in front of us. They're staring at us. Everything that is being told to us is true. It walks like a duck. It talks like a duck. It is a duck. Admit that the person in front of you, that the fact in front of you, whatever it is that you're being told, it's the truth. But that's what the problem is. The problem is, a lot of times, we know what the truth is. But to admit to the truth, that means that we have to admit that we lived our life as a lie. We don't want to say that we're a loser. We lived for the past 39 years. The brothers did not want to admit the fact that this is the Yosef that told them he's going to be king. And they're going to come and bow down to him. If they say that this is Yosef, as long as it's not 100% yet, we're going to bend over backwards in order to say that this is not him. Because if we say that this is him, that means we were wrong and he was right. And the psychology of a person, that is the most hurtful thing that a person could do, even when two people are arguing. And one person finally sees that this argument, he's wrong. He doesn't say to the other guy that I'm wrong. He says, you know what? You're right. But say you're wrong also. No. That much I can't do to my ego. That's the lesson that the Torah is teaching us over here. That all the truth could be facing you in your face. And if you admit, that means that you lived your whole life wrong. But it's okay. Admit. From now, today, live your life right. That's what the Torah is teaching us. There's a story that told that this is actually happened 2 weeks ago. I didn't see it myself, but as I heard about it, that it was a person in the parliament of in Turkey got up on stage live. He's speaking against the Jewish people, how the army, how they're killing Hamas, what have you. Although he knows that all the facts that all the videos are showing the other way around. And it says, no, they are erasing history. They're erasing history. He can't admit that he is wrong. And all the facts are staring him in his face. And what happens? He drops dead on the stage. That's a clear indication that Hashem is telling him, hello, how many facts I have to show you away? How many facts, how many of the truth Hashem is sending our ways? Wake up, wake up, wake up. Admit that you're wrong. It's okay. I'm here. I'm your father. Taking my hand. Start again. That's what Shovavim is about, that we talked about. Shuvu, shuvu banim shovavim. Means that I know I'm your father, Hashem is telling us. I know you messed up here and there. But admit you're wrong and start again. Reset. Reset. We don't want to end up like this Turkish parliament member that dropped dead. Hashem has a lot of rahmanut on us. When he's looking at us in the face and telling us to wake up, it's better for us to wake up and admit and not wait until we have the whole 100% picture. Because that's the test. The 100% we're going to have when Moshiach comes. But we're not dummies over here. When Hashem is sending us messages to wake up and to stop acting the way we're acting because we're servants to our Yetzer Hara, if you follow this lesson over here from the brothers and to wake up a minute before, B'ezrat Hashem, that could help us to go a long way. Next point, this week's Parashah starts by saying Vayehi, Vayehi Yaakov. You know that Yaakov Avinu, we talked about this also last week, when he saw Yosef, it didn't register with him if he's alive, not alive. He wanted to hear one word. Is my son alive and going in the ways of his forefathers? Is he a star that's born and playing in Hollywood and is a rock star? Or he is in San Francisco but is in the yeshiva and is married to a nice Jewish woman and is raising a Jewish family? And when they told him that the second answer is true, that says, Od Yosef Chai. And we see the same word over here, Vayehi Yaakov. After 130 years of going through misery, like he says himself, Yaakov, I had such a hard time, hard life. Finally, when he gets to Egypt, the last 17 years is good. Tov is Gematria 17, numerical value. The last 17 years of his life was very good. Why? Because he finally sees that all the 12 kids that he had are going in the way of Hashem, and none of them is gone, made a left turn. They made mistakes. They made mistakes, but they picked themselves up. They didn't let the mistakes to keep them down. Like the Yisrael wants to say, you're down, stay down. Stay down. Don't get up. But Yaakov saw that all his sons got back up, and now he could live his life. Now it could be a good life. A lot of times, we see by the life of people, when they get married, Rabbi, I like to do this. I'm going to go to the kollel. I'm going to learn an hour a day, but I want to have fun right now. Rabbi, I'll get married when I'm 30. Let me chill out a little bit. Or when they get married also, vacation here, vacation. Not that it's wrong to take vacations. You could have your fun. But to keep pushing it off and pushing it off, and then the children come. And then they're not ready to give them the right hashkafa, the right ideology, to put them in the right schools. Yeah, no, we're having fun. We'll get there, Rabbi. We'll get there. And then when they wake up, it's too late. Yaakov Avinu is teaching us over here. 130 years, he spent his whole blood and time. And he cried. And his wives cried by the Nerot Shabbat. My kids should go in the right way, I'm going to teach them, I'm going to show them the right way. I'm going to cry now and laugh later. Like the pasuk says. Hazorim bedima b'rinok soru. If you cry now, you'll laugh later. But if you're laughing now, ho, how much you're going to cry later? Yaakov Avinu is teaching us, Habibi, cry now. Cry now that you should become a Ben Torah. Cry now that you should find the right woman. The woman should cry that she should find the right man. And when they get married, they should have their children go in the ways of Hashem. Vayehi Yosef, Vayehi Yaakov, Od Yosef Chai. Because of those tears of Kanievsky's mother at the age of 50. When Rav Chaim Kanievsky is 50 years old, the Gadol Ador already. Why are you crying by the Nerot already? How much can you cry every year of Shabbat? He's a Gadol. No, I can't take it for granted. I'm going to keep crying. But she started laughing inside also, because she saw that all the perot, all the fruits of the crying, this is in the little chaim that she had, as becoming a Gadol Ador. And that's what as Jewish people, Jewish parents have to do. We cry now, we put our time now into our children or ourselves, and we'll laugh later. Vayehi Yaakov, when you see the kids and the grandkids go in the right directions, wow, it's all worth it. All those years. Let's start laughing. But first, you have to know that the tears in the beginning is going to take you a long way at the end of the road. Which takes us to the next point. Why is Yaakov Avinu from all his 12 kids, all Gedolei Yisrael, Sadikim, Kedoshei Elyon, Tehorim, holy people? If I want to bless my kids on Friday night, I should say, Yesimcha Elokim, Ke Yehuda and Yosef, Yisachar and Zevulun. What happened to Ephraim and Manasseh getting into the ball game here? Where's the respect to the Shivtei Ka, to all these 12 kids you have? You brought them up, you put your blood into them, you just talked about. You know how old they are. Ephraim and Manasseh, okay, you met them in the last 17 years of your life, but you weren't there. You didn't give them Torah for the first few years of their lives. How do you know that this is the bracha that all Jewish parents have to give to the elden time? What's special about Manasseh and Ephraim? Our sages tell us what's special. Two things, a lot of things, but two key points over here that we have to take upon ourselves as parents to teach our kids. One is, we know that by the brothers, the sons of Yaakov Avinu, there was a jealousy on their level. Of course, these are holy people. But the Torah says this, and we have to learn the lessons. There was jealousy involved. Yehuda and Yosef. Yosef gets sold. He becomes a slave. In the end, it was all good. But this friction, this jealousy, it doesn't exist by Manasseh and Ephraim. Comes Yosef HaSadik. He hears that his father is sick. He brings the children for one last time to get a bracha from the holy grandpa, Yaakov Avinu. Yosef goes to the extra mile, make sure that the older son is on the right side and the younger son is on the left side. The right has obviously more power. He wants Yaakov to put his hand on Menashe and Ephraim also, but the Bechor. But obviously we know the story how it went. Yaakov Avinu switches his hands. He puts the right hand on Ephraim and the left on Menashe. Now what would any kid do? He says, Grandpa, hello? Grandpa, I'm the firstborn. I should get the bigger bracha. Nothing. Menashe doesn't move an inch. Close his mouth. No word. Yaakov Avinu says, look at this. This is the bracha you should give your kids, that there should not be any jealousy. When there's no jealousy between the kids, that is the biggest blessing in the Jewish family, in particular in the Jewish nation as a whole. That's why another reason that we say Ephraim and Menashe. Another reason is, we know that Ephraim and Menashe were born outside of Eretz Israel. None other than San Francisco of our day. Egypt of those times basically means spiritual suicide. Meaning you have no yeshiva, no Beit Yaakov, no kosher food. You only have Yosef HaSadiq and Osnat, his wife, to teach Ephraim and Menashe to go in the ways of the Torah. And they succeed! These two people succeed. They don't go to universities, although they're very good looking. They are the sons of the most important person in Egypt. They could go and become the soccer league star, the basketball star. Yeah, he wants to be the next Kochav Nolad, star to be born. Nothing. Ephraim and Menashe are sitting down and learning Torah day and night with Yosef HaSadiq and Osnat, their mother. Comes Yaakov and says, you know why you should give the bracha to Ephraim and Menashe, that every parent for all time they should give the bracha, because these are the first kids that were born in San Francisco and they still went in the ways of Yaakov Avinu. They did not go right or left. And that's the biggest bracha that a parent could give to a child. To be raised in the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the ways of the Torah, especially in this day and age, how hard it is, the universities, the street, everything that we see that's going on around us. For the kids, the biggest blessing is Ephraim and Menashe. Please go in the ways of these righteous kids, that with all that they had, all the temptations, they stayed in the ways of Israel Saba, in Yaakov Avinu's ways, and they did not go left or right. Next point I want to talk about is Yaakov Avinu. We know that it was a very big loss to the Jewish people. This Parashah, there's no separation between last Parashah and this Parashah. One of the reasons is because that Yaakov Avinu passes away. And when he passes away, is like the light of the Jewish people goes dark, because Yaakov Avinu was the light that led us in the right direction. What are we going to do now? So when they go, Yaakov Avinu, when they come and bring him, they bring his body after the Avelut to bury him in Ma'at HaMachpelah, the final spot that Yaakov Avinu has bought from Esau for billions of dollars, all the money that he had before he went to Egypt. He made a mountain of gold and silver. He told Esau, shove it down your throat, like I shoved down the soup years ago and down your throat, and go and play. Go, Allah Mazeh, this is yours. That's what you want anyway. Esau says, yeah, that's what I want. Give it to me, Jack. Esau takes all the money, but of course, Esau being Esau, it comes back. He wants that final spot. He wants to live like a loser all his life and come and eat the cake. And all the brothers are standing there, the sons of Jacob. He says, excuse me, we have the evidence over here that you signed on the paper that Yaakov Avinu gets the final spot. Where is it? Esau says. They had forgotten it in Egypt because they didn't know Esau was going to show up from Saudi Arabia, from miles away. They say that Esau's inheritance is in Saudi Arabia. Miles away. We didn't know you were going to come over here. But don't worry. If you have a brother named Naphtali, he runs very fast. He's going to go and get it. They sent off Naphtali to Egypt. In the meantime, Yaakov Avinu's body is laying there on the ground. And people are starting talking. They're getting used to the situation. Yaakov Avinu, the holiest person ever lived until that time, is in bizayon, in disgrace. All of a sudden comes this person called Hushin ben Dan, the son of Dan, grandson of Yaakov. He was very hard of hearing. He says, what's going on here? Grandpa's on the ground! Disgrace! What's going on over here? They explained to him what's going on. He's like, I don't understand what's going on. Who is this Esau that's trying to prevent this, the body, this holy body of our grandfather to be buried? So they say it's Esau. He's preventing us until we have the evidence. He takes his hand and chops down the Rasha's head. He's like, I have no way of thinking that our grandfather could be sitting in disgrace. We have to kill this Rasha, and that's what he did. Now, what gave Hushin ben Dan the courage to do that? You know that Yehuda was much stronger. God, they would go into the army and they would just chop up people's heads left and right. Of course, the wars that they did, it was on self-defense. So why Yehuda didn't jump? Why didn't God come and jump? Yosef, where are you, Yosef? You have so much respect for your father. The answer that our sages tell us, it's mind-boggling. When a person gets used to the situation, he becomes a little loose. Okay, we'll wait a little bit till we go and get the contract. In the meantime, Yaakov Avinu is sitting in disgrace. What's special about Hushin, he can't hear. He can't hear this nonsense of Esav. He doesn't let the Yitzhara to get used to the situation. So he does what he does and saves the moment. We learn from this how important it is not to get used to the situation. Sometimes you prepare yourself for so long. I'm going to go to this wedding, say Mazal Tov, but I'm not going to stay for dancing because I know it's not kosher. In the meantime, his friends are there. They start talking. Hey, come on, let's have a drink. Sit down. You don't have to dance. Okay? You know, you're religious. It starts getting used to the situation. And before he knows, he's on the dance floor. Hushin ben Dan is teaching us when it comes to halacha, when it comes to hashkafa, the right Torah mind, you can't let the world get into you and get used to the situation. Because once you do, little by little, after 20 years, it starts with this, and then next thing you know, you're dancing at that mixed party, to say the least. Final point, I'm going to go back to this, like we said in the beginning, that we're going into the period of Shovavim, and we know that chazak when it chazek, when we say that we should be strong and strong and get stronger, we don't say it for naught. Before Shovavim, we need a lot of chizukim to prepare ourselves and not get used to the situation, not let the world around us get to us like the world is getting to us. This war in Gaza where people are getting a little more, okay, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe we should let this guy live. Maybe this guy... In the meantime, soldiers are dying left and right. And in the meantime, our Jewish brothers and sisters are dying spiritually left and right because we're getting used to the situation. We have to learn from Shovavim and chazak when it chazek and all the heroes that we have in Seder Parashah, not to give in, not to get loose, and to become chazak when it chazek, and stop being banim Shovavim, and it should become more of a person, the man in washing their eyes and kedusha and tahara, and the woman in siniyut. And B'ezrat Hashem, with that, we're going to win the war, and we're going to have Moshiach Tzidkenu v'chesed rachamim. Amen.